Guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of my orchid collection update. Now, in June's orchid collection update, I showed you guys my brand new Vanda. It is not in bloom anymore. I actually cut the spike to save the plant some energy and focus on making new roots and new growths. So it is actually putting out another leaf right here. And it has so many roots. If you go back and watch the video from June, it was just starting to make new roots, and now look how long those green growing root tips are. It actually has a root coming out right there. So many new roots on this thing. It looks absolutely amazing. Way better than when I first purchased it. This guy right here is one of my bloom-aholics. It is always making new sheath. I love this plant. This is Brassolalia Cattleya Husky Boy Romeo. This is pretty much in every single update I do because it's always making new growths or sheaths or blooms. It's always doing something. It's just a super hard-working orchid. But it has these two brand new growths. Look at those guys. They're like twins. They're the same size. They're facing each other. They're just like mirror images of each other. They both have sheaths, which is great because this is the first time that this orchid has put out two growths with two sheaths. Usually I get one growth and, one sheath. So it just goes to show you that the bigger your Cattleyas get, the more growths they will put out, and hence why specimen-sized Cattleya orchids are considered specimens, because they usually put off 9, 10 spikes, hundreds of flowers. It's just insane. So I am ready for this guy to put out some blooms because I love the color. It is a bright, sunshiny yellow, and then it has a red lip. No fragrance, unfortunately, but definitely makes up for it with those beautiful blooms. I know this guy looks dead. He has made a lot of progress despite looking so sad. If you guys remember, there was a slug that chewed through the newest pseudobulb. I was so upset about that. But he is making a new growth right here, and it's actually grown quite a bit. So I am very optimistic that this guy will survive. If you guys are on eBay and you follow any of the sellers on there to see what they're selling, I follow the Orchid Gallery on eBay because they have lots of really, really great plants. And I have been loving lava rock recently. I can't say enough good things about it. It's absolutely awesome. I don't have to worry about root rot or anything like that. Love the stuff. This is my Potinara Exotic Dream Orange Passion. I got it from the Orchid Gallery, and it was labeled as a rescue plant. That's one thing that the Orchid Gallery is really good with, is that they sell rescue plants, but for really, really dirt cheap prices. So I got a pack, I guess you would say, a pack of 3 rescue plants. One of those is going to die, which is unfortunate. But then I have 2 others that are doing really, really well, and this is one of them. It has put out a new growth, and this newest sheath feels bubbly, and when they feel bubbly, there's air in there, and that means that there's going to be buds very, very soon. You guys probably know that I don't have a whole lot of dendrobiums, but let me just move this bulbophyllum out of the way. This is my Bulbophyllum War Youth White Fang, and he's putting out a new growth right there. White Fang is a cross with Bulbophyllum medusae, so the blooms on these guys are super, super cool. So I don't grow a lot of dendrobiums, but the section of dendrobium that I really, really like and will purchase plants in is the Latouria section. So here is one of my Latouria dendrobiums. This is Dendrobium Finisterre, and it is putting out 2 new growths right there. Looking kind of shriveled, but that's because I just recently planted it in lava rock, probably about a month ago, and it's still adapting to the drier conditions. I prefer lava rock for Latouria section dendrobiums because they just do so incredibly well in it. So, yeah. So my other Latouria section dendrobium, this is Pam Tajuma. It's a hybrid, obviously, but it has new roots coming out. If I can find them. Oh, there they are. See those little green root tips right there? So hopefully it will start making new growths. And my other Dendrobium, Latoria section Dendrobium, and he's putting out another growth right there. One of my other Cattleyas, this is a rescue that is in sheath. Briarleaf Fairy Summer Spice, so hopefully we'll see some blooms from that if the ants would get out of the way. Now we are moving on up to the next level. Moving on up. And lots of seedlings on this level. This doesn't get a whole lot of light, which is great for seedlings because you don't want to accidentally burn them. But I do have some larger ones on here as well. This is one of my no ID Cattleyas, and it is currently in bud. I am so excited. You can probably see the little shadow down there. Much easier to notice on the other one. The other sheath is nice and bubbly, and there is buds in there. So I'm very, very excited to see this one bloom because I bought it out of bloom last year. It was on the clearance rack for $20, so I decided to go ahead and purchase it because it was a large and healthy plant. And then I just have a bunch of seedlings down here. This one was one of the other rescues I purchased from the Orchid Gallery, and since putting it in this wooden basket, look at all of those roots. It just loves it in there. And this is its newest growth right here. And that is my Layla Anceps, which isn't doing much, just has this new growth right here. And some new growths back there on my species Cattleyas. And then this is Angraecum germanianum, which has some new roots poking out. And this is the next level, which has a ton. This guy was getting way too much light, so that's why he's yellow. That is my Odobracia, I believe is how it's pronounced. And I was trying to give it sort of Brassica kind of light levels, but he didn't really like that too much. And some more Cattleyas, lots of Cattleyas, lots and lots. New growths pretty much on everything. I mean, you can see the new growths there and there. So just new growths everywhere. Not really anything budding on this level, but I do have this guy right here. This is Schomburgia Thomsonianum aureum, and it is putting out a new growth. Yay! I'm so excited. I hope that it will bloom soon for me. This is one of my Andes orchid purchases. And speaking of mounted plants, I am so excited to show you guys this. This is my Brassocattleya yellowbird. Let me pull it down first. Look at this beauty. So I found this piece of cedar just hanging out in the woods, and I know a lot of people say, oh, don't find wood out in the wild because it's infested with bugs and you don't want to possibly bring that into your collection, but if you inspect the wood, inspect the wood, and you don't find any bugs or anything like that, I mean, I don't know. I thought this piece was definitely worth the risk. Look at that cool moss growing on there. And I mounted it a few months ago, and look at all of those roots coming out of there, and they're attaching, which is awesome. A successful mount for this guy. And soon I'll be able to take off the sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss for mounts is just to help the orchid acclimate to drier conditions. So you give them a little bit of moisture before taking it all away. It has 4 new growths, I believe. You can see 3 of them in front of me, and then there's 1 coming off of the back. So very, very excited to have this mount. And then up on the top level, there's just tons and tons of new growth. Not really anything that is getting ready to bud, except for this guy right here, which is my George King Southern Cross. He has a sheath. Oh, and actually this one does have a sheath as well. This is my Cattleya, what is this? Caguas Ruby? Yeah. Cattleya Caguas Ruby, which blooms on every single new growth that it makes. So I'm really, really excited to see that one blooming again. And then this guy is just making a lot of new growth, but hasn't decided to bloom yet. The sheath that it formed a long time ago has not done anything, so I don't think it'll bloom from it, but we'll see what happens. Cattleya intermedia, which is one of my species. and it has new roots, just a lot of new growths and roots, which I get really excited about, but you guys are probably like, oh, been there, seen that, whatever. But this guy is still in bloom. There you go, there's a bloom. This is Potinara Hoku Gem Freckles. Hopefully the camera will focus on it. And I just think it is so, so cute with that little yellow with the little red freckles on it. And my big girl, she's looking kind of shrivelly. That's because I potted her in the lava rock, and she probably isn't getting as much moisture as I should give her. She transferred over from Cypress, which holds a lot of water, to this, which doesn't hold hardly any water, but she does have a lot of healthy growths. There's one right here, and here, and here, and here, and then one in the back. Here is one of my other recently mounted orchids. This is Brassavola nodosa, and it has one growth coming out right there, and another growth coming out the back. Can you see that? That little tiny one, and it also has that root growing as well. These guys just love to be mounted. I can't say enough good things. Whee! I love mounting these guys because they respond so well to it. So I think from now on, I am just going to mount all of my Brassavola types. So look out, Hoku Gem, you're gonna get mounted. That sounded so weird. Alrighty guys, that does it for part 2 of my orchid collection update. If you guys see anything that you want me to do a video about or talk about, then just let me know down in the comment section of this video. And I hope to see you guys on my Facebook page or on Twitter. Follow me there. I love getting your guys' pictures. I've already been getting lots and lots of pictures of you and your new cool mounts. So keep the pictures coming. I love seeing your guys' collections. And subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one in the future. And I will see you guys later.